Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna and Pranam beauty devotees. So welcome to our Saturday afternoon Bhagavad Gita session. I think पहले कोई problem थी, कोई आवाज नहीं आ रही थी. So now I think it is sorted out. So we will continue reading from Bhagavad Gita. So let us continue. नमो विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण। So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, and last session में we did that Arjun is asking Krishna that what are the qualities and symptoms of a person who is Krishna conscious, है ना, who is स्थित प्रज्ञ basically. उसके बाद भगवान उनको बताते हैं that he is equal in happiness and distress, and he is equipoised, and he is not affected by his senses are in control. So this is one of the biggest qualification. तो आज हम उसको आगे continue करते हैं, and we are going to read from Bhagavad Gita 2.59. So let me share my screen. So Joe, just a minute. So we are going to read from 2.59. So this is a very wonderful verse and very important also. And why? Because this verse tells us actually that how we can control our senses. What is the secret to uh, what is the secret to control our senses, and what is the secret to control our desires as well? Let us read. विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निहारस्य देहिना रसवर्जम रसो अपि यस्य परम दृष्टा निवर्तते। तो जो यहाँ पे भगवान बता रहे हैं परम दृष्टा निवर्तते कि we can leave the lower taste by tasting a higher taste. जैसे हमने लास्ट टाइम डिस्कस किया था, पहले मैं ट्रांसलेशन पढ़ देता हूँ कि though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains, but ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. इसमें भगवान क्या कहना चाहते हैं? भगवान कह रहे हैं कि जैसे इसमें पीछे भगवान ने बताया अर्जुन को कि जो स्थित प्रज्ञ है उसका एक सिम्टम ये है that his senses are controlled and restricted. He restricts his senses and they are not uncontrolled and they are not wandering here and there. But उसके बाद वो बता रहे हैं कि ऐसा हो सकता है that you have controlled your senses, but it may be from the externals and you are artificially trying to control the senses. But you haven't still lost the desire to enjoy the desire for those sense enjoyment. We may not have lost. जैसे कि let's suppose that I go to Himalayas एक महीने के लिए मैं चला जाऊं, and it is possible, it could be possible for me, कोई मेरे को बोल दे कि that for 1 week or for 3 days you have to do तपस्या, आपको कुछ नहीं खाना है, आपको कुछ नहीं पीना है, and you have to simply meditate and do your meditation and not think about anything else other than simply meditation and control your senses. Okay, so it may be possible for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, but because I haven't lost that taste for sense enjoyment, I haven't given up that taste for sense enjoyment, and I still have that desire to enjoy. So then I may be controlling the senses for a temporary basis, but I haven't really lost the desire to it. तो जो बीज है that remains. तो यहाँ पे भगवान उसकी बात कर रहे हैं that that बीज which is there, how can that be even eradicated? How can that be even removed? कैसे कह रहे हैं? But seizing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. Let's suppose that हम अब मुझे लेट्स सपोज हमको खाना बहुत पसंद है, लाइक वी वांट टू वी आर अ फूडी, लेट्स सपोज somebody is a foodie and he enjoys very good food, let's suppose, and let's for 1 day, let's suppose he's given a very simple bread which is 3 day old and उसमें कोई रस भी नहीं है, and it is very I would say कड़क कड़क हो चुकी है, it has got very less taste now, है ना? But if you if instead of giving that thing, if somebody gives him a full meal, which is a 6 course meal or 7 course meal, then he will not easily give up that bread which is old and it is tasteless, है ना? Or any other food item which is tasteless. Why? Because he is getting something more instead of simply having a bread. So what is happening? We are experiencing a higher taste. Then we don't have that attraction for that lower taste. Simply when we engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness, we experience that higher taste. और ये आप में से काफियों ने इसको एक्सपीरियंस भी किया होगा, that we experience that higher taste, due to which we are able to retain ourselves in Krishna consciousness. And other than that, it is not possible to do all these things artificially. And for how long we can do this artificially? Not for so long. but unless one is transcendently situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. है ना? जिससे प्रभुपाद कह रहे हैं कि unless we are Krishna conscious, it is not possible for to cease sense enjoyment. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulations is something like restricting a diseased person from a certain type of eatables. ये प्रभुपाद यहाँ पे एग्जांपल दे रहे हैं एक एक बीमार व्यक्ति का, कि जैसे कि अगर एक बीमार व्यक्ति है, उसको बोल दें कि आपको नहीं खाना, तो उसको रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन की वजह से डॉक्टर ने मना कर दिया कि आपको भी बीमारी है, अगर आप खाएंगे तो आपको और प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी. तो पेशेंट ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड्स, बट he hasn't given up the whole thing, because उसको लगता है कि जैसे मैं ठीक हो जाऊंगा, then again everything will start, है ना? Why is that? Because his taste remains, his desire to have that thing remains. The patient, however, neither likes such restrictions nor loses his taste for eatables. Similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process like Ashtanga Yoga in the matter of yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, etc. is recommended for less intelligent persons who have no better knowledge. But one who has tasted the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness no longer has a taste for dead material things. Therefore, restrictions are there for the less intelligent neophytes in the spiritual advancement of life. But such restrictions are only good until one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. When one is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things. जैसे कि if we give an example, let's suppose before coming to Krishna conscious, we may be very habitual to eat outside. We may be very habitual to go to movie theaters and watch movies, etc. And because we have that taste, but once we come to Krishna consciousness, then we automatically loses that taste, and we realize that our desires, and realize that our what we actually do changes, because we no longer have that longing to do all those things which we are doing. Earlier we may have that inclination to go outside and have some good time and enjoy with others, you know? And but when we change our association from other people to devotees, then automatically we lose that taste, because we have experienced a higher taste, we have experienced a higher satisfaction level. This automatically happens. Nobody has to simply tell you that your taste has become better. You know it by yourself. Just like a person who is hungry, if he eats the food, and if he honors prasadam, he's automatically satisfied, because he knows that he was hungry before and now he has eaten. So he knows his appetite is gone now, and he is satisfied, because he has taken up that, he has honored the prasadam. So nobody has to convince him that now whether are you hungry or not, because he has taken that meal and he is automatically satisfied. Similarly, the person who is in Krishna consciousness is automatically comes to a higher state, a higher taste, by leaving the lower taste, because a higher taste is available. See, that is what Prabhupada also did with those with people whom he preached in 1965, na, जब वो USA गए, and what he simply gave, the people there were looking for a higher taste. Like they were all hippies, and they were all into addiction and drugs and LSD and marijuana, lots of many other things which they were addicted to. But Prabhupada showed them, and he had that potency, and he being a pure devotee, he showed them, to those people who were the lowest, how to become the topmost, the topmost Vaishnav. And they lost that, the lowest taste, the lowest most taste possible for a human being, and they became the highest. So that is what he showed, and he made them pure devotees, and they followed. They were attracted because they were looking for that higher taste, but they were looking in wrong items. They were looking in drugs. They were looking in many illicit kind of activities, but their intent was that they were looking for a higher taste, they wanted to get high. So what Prabhupada showed them, he gave them a higher taste in Krishna consciousness, and they adapted it, and then they stuck to it, and then their life completely changed, and they became the from Malechas and Yavans to topmost Vaishnavas, and now we have so many in our ISKCON that whom we can relate this story with them, right? And that how they became from the lowest to the highest. So let us read the next shloka. यततो हि अपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य विपश्चिता इन्द्रियाणि प्रमाथीनि हरन्ति प्रसभं मनाः. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjun, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a mind of discrimination, even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. देखिए यहाँ पे भगवान कह रहे हैं कि how strong and impetuous are the senses. Impetuous का meaning क्या है कि acting or done quickly with and without thought or care, है ना, कि quickly they act, है ना. As soon as there is an what can I say, as soon as there is an opportunity to have some sense gratification, the senses simply go there and they enjoy, so this is, and how strong they are, that even if we are so strong in our mind and intelligence, they also carry away our mind and intelligence. इसका सबसे important example कैसे है, that sometimes it happens that we see that people are barely not able to get up in the morning, even if they know that yes, getting up in the morning is so important and so helpful for them for maintaining their health and also for doing spiritual activities, right? But still they are not able to do so. because they want to sleep a little more, and the senses becomes this, so they become so strong. The intelligence is saying that yes, I want to get up, and the mind, but they carry away the mind, and the mind then says, okay, no problem, you can sleep a little more. But it becomes very much difficult to overcome those things. तो अब दूसरा बात ये आती है कि यहाँ पे देखो भगवान बता रहे हैं कि सेंसेस आर सो स्ट्रांग, देन हाउ स्ट्रांग इट वुड बी, है ना? But these senses can be controlled if we give them a higher taste, if we engage them in the right direction, because they are looking for enjoyment, they are looking for satisfaction and enjoyment, but they're looking on a wrong direction. But if we give them the right direction, the direction of Krishna consciousness, then the senses will be satisfied and there will be less hankering. There are many learned sages, philosophers, and transcendentalists who try to conquer the senses, but in spite of their endeavors, even the greatest of them sometimes fall victim of material sense enjoyment due to the agitated mind. Even Vishwamitra, a great sage and perfect yogi, was misled by Menaka into sex enjoyment, although the yogi was endeavoring for sense control with severe types of penance and yoga practice. And of course, there are so many similar instances in the history of the world. Therefore, it is very difficult to control the mind and senses without being fully Krishna conscious. Without engaging the mind in Krishna, one cannot see such material engagements. A practical example is given by Sri Yamunacharya, a great saint and a devotee, who says, since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor, and whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it and I spit at that thought. Krishna consciousness is such a transcendently nice thing that automatically material enjoyments become distasteful. It is as if a hungry man has satisfied his hunger by sufficient quantity of nutritious eatables. Maharaj Ambrish also conquered a great yogi, Durvasa Muni, simply because his mind was engaged in Krishna consciousness. Savai mana Krishna padar vindeor vachansi vaikuntha gunarnu varnane. So, so जैसे कि भगवान ने बताया, the senses are very strong, है ना? But if we engage them in Krishna consciousness, and if we engage our mind, intelligence, and the senses in Krishna consciousness, then they get controlled. जैसे कि हमको जब हमने लास्ट टाइम भी ये मैंने आपको बताया था कि जैसे जो हमारा एनओई है, उपदेशम नेक्टर ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन, उसमें सबसे पहला जो इंस्ट्रक्शन है श्री रूप गोस्वामी की, वो यही है कि कंट्रोल एंड वाचो वेगम मनसा क्रोध वेगम जीवा वेगम उदारपस्त वेगम एतान वेगन जो चाहे तधीरा सर्वम अभिमा पृथ्वीम च शिष्यात। कि कैसे कि अपने वाचो वेगम, कंट्रोल योर वर्ड्स एंड कंट्रोल व्हाट यू स्पीक, Manasa Krodha Vegam, and control your mind and control your anger. Jiva Vegam, control your tongue. Udarpastha Vegam, and control your belly and control your genitals. These six things, if you control, then you become the master of senses, and that person is qualified to make disciples all over the world. एंड उसके बाद अगला जो आता है, और उसको वो कहते हैं कि कैसे करना है, तो उसके बाद कि ओके देन यू don't do those activities which are unfavorable in Krishna consciousness and do 6 activities which are favorable in Krishna consciousness. So उसमें मैं नहीं जा रहा, but वहां पे भी इंस्ट्रक्शन हमको यही मिलती है that if we engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness and if we remain in the association of devotees, and if we are doing some kind of service and devotional service, and we are chanting our rounds properly, and we are honoring prasadam, then automatically the process works because it's a natural process. We don't have to do much endeavor. It will automatically, you will automatically see the change of heart, and you will automatically see your that you are more easy. It is more easier for you to control your anger. It is more easier for you to control your senses. 2.61 तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत् मत्पराः वाशहि यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his mind upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. But that the highest conception of yoga perfection and Krishna consciousness is clearly explained in this verse. ये भगवान छठे अध्याय के लास्ट में भी बताते हैं इसी चीज को कि जो हाईएस्ट कंसेप्शन ऑफ कृष्णा योग है जो दैट कल्मिनेट्स इनटू कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस. योगी नाम अपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेन अंतरात्मना श्रद्धावान भजते यो माम साम्य युक्त तमो मता. और उसके बारे में वो थोड़ा सा रिवील भी करते हैं, सीक्रेट भी रिवील करते हैं. श्रद्धावान भजते यो माम, जो मेरे श्रद्धा पूर्वक मेरे को भजते हैं, दे आर द हाईएस्ट yogis. Or yogi already means that his senses are in control and he is the master of the senses. Goswami. और यहाँ पे भगवान बता रहे हैं कि जो कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में जो हाईएस्ट परफेक्शन है ना जो योग की, that is that unless one is in Krishna consciousness, it is not possible to control the senses. And as cited above, like the great sages Durvasa Muni, he picked a quarrel with Maharaj Ambrish, and Durvasa Muni unnecessarily became angry out of pride and therefore could not check his senses. तो यहाँ पे एक प्रसंग आता है दुर्वासा मुनि का और महाराज अम्बरीश के साथ. उसमें जो ये प्रसंग आता है उसमें भागवतम में, तो इसमें जो दुर्वासा मुनि है वो भी भगवान के बहुत भक्त हैं और बहुत ही पहुंचे हुए. ही इज अ सेज, ही इज अ ऋषि, एंड बट he fails to control on his anger, he fails to control on his senses. और दूसरी तरफ जो अम्बरीश महाराज हैं, he being a pure devotee of the Lord and being situated rightly in Krishna consciousness, he is able to tolerate all those things. On the other hand, the king, although not as powerful a yogi as the sage, but a devotee of the Lord, silently tolerated all the sage's injustices and thereby emerged victorious. The king was able to control his senses because of the following qualifications as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.18 to 20. Savai mana Krishna padar vindeor vachansi vaikuntha gunarnuvarnane karau harer mandira marjanadishu shrutim chakaruchate sat kathodaye mukund lingalaya darshane dasho tadbhritya गात्रे स्पर्शे अंग संगमम गृहणम च तत्पाद सरोज सौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्य रसनम तदर्पिते पदौ हरेर क्षेत्र पादनो सर्पणे शिरो ऋषिकेश पदा विभव पदाभिवंदने कामम कामम च दास्ये नातु काम कामय यथोत्तम श्लोक जनाश्रय रति. King Ambarish fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, engaged his word in describing the abode of the Lord. अब देखिए, अब जो जितने भी हमारी सेंसेस हैं उसको हम कैसे अब भगवान की सेवा में लगा सकते हैं उसके बारे में बताया गया. King Ambarish, he fixed his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. जो मन है उसको भगवान के चरण कमलों में लगाना है. Engaged his words in describing the abode of the Lord. उनकी जो वर्ड्स हैं, है ना, उनकी जो वचन है उसको भगवान की प्रशंसा में और उनके भक्तों की और उनका जो धाम है उसके बारे में बताने में हम लगा सकते हैं. His hands in cleansing the temple of the Lord. जो हाथ हैं वो टेम्पल को साफ करने में लगा सकते हैं और बहुत सारी चीजों में हम हाथ को सेवा में लगा सकते हैं. His ears in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the form of the Lord. जो भगवान का जो अर्च विग्रह फॉर्म है, 200 फॉर्म, 400 फॉर्म और जितने सारे भगवान के जो लीला हैं उनके जो फॉर्म्स हैं उनको देखने में हमारी जो आंखें हैं हम उनको सेवा में लगा सकते हैं. His body in touching the body of the devotee, his nostrils in smelling the fragrance of the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulsi leaves offered to him his legs in traveling to the holy place where his temple is situated, है ना. तो जो जो legs हैं उनको हम यूटिलाइज कैसे कर सकते हैं सेवा में. अगर हम भगवान के जो मंदिर हैं वहां तक हम जाते हैं तो लेग्स काम में आती हैं. His head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, जब हम दंडवत करते हैं या फिर पंचांग करते हैं, and his desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord, और अपनी जो इच्छाएं भी हैं वो भी भगवान के साथ अनुकूल करके, और जो भगवान की इच्छा है उसमें संलग्न होके, और इन फुलफिलिंग द डिजायर्स ऑफ द लॉर्ड, जो भगवान की इच्छा है उसको पूर्ण करने में अपनी इच्छा लगा दी. एंड ऑल दीज क्वालिफिकेशंस मेड हिम फिट टू बिकम मतपरा डिवोटी ऑफ द लॉर्ड. द वर्ड, अब तो देखिए, तो ये सारी चीजें अब तो उन्होंने हमको बता दी कि कैसे हम अपने मन को, हम अपने वर्ड्स को, हम अपने हाथों को, हम अपने कानों को, हम अपनी आईज को, हम अपनी बॉडी को, अपने नॉस्ट्रिल्स को, है ना, हम अपने जीवा को, हम अपनी लेग्स को, और हम कैसे अपने हेड को, सिर को, और कैसे हम अपनी इच्छाओं को भगवान की सेवा में लगा सकते हैं. The word Matpara is most significant in this connection. How one can become Matpara is described in the life of Maharaj Ambarish. Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan, a great scholar and acharya in the line of Matpara, remarks, Madbhakta Prabhavena Sarvendriya Vijaya Purvika Swat Swatma Drishti Sulabheti Bhava. The senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. Also, the example of fire is sometimes given. As a blazing fire burns everything within a room, Lord Vishnu, seated in the heart of the yogi, burns up all kinds of impurities. The Yoga Sutra also describes meditation on Vishnu and not meditation on the void. The so-called yogis who meditate on something other than the Vishnu form simply waste their time in a vain search after some phantasmagoria. You have to be Krishna conscious, devoted to the personality of Godhead. This is the aim of real yoga. तो उन्होंने बताया कि देखिए, अब देखिए श्लोक, देखिए भगवान क्या कह रहे हैं. भगवान कह रहे हैं कि इससे पहले उन्होंने बताया कि सेंसेस आर वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू कंट्रोल, बट जो कंट्रोल इसको करता है दैट पर्सन इज कॉल्ड मैन ऑफ स्टडी इंटेलिजेंस. उसके बाद प्रभुपाद देखिए क्या बता रहे हैं. प्रभुपाद बता रहे हैं दैट हाउ वी कैन एंगेज ऑल दोस सेंसेस एंड आवर mind, our hands, our legs, and our desires also in the service of the Lord. और ये वो किसी, और ये यहाँ से साथ में वो इसका रेफरेंस दे रहे हैं फ्रॉम द, जैसे श्रीमद् भागवतम से, शास्त्रों से, दैट हाउ दोज डिवोटीज हु हैव डन दिस, है ना. कि एक तो होता है कि जैसे कि आपको मैं कह रहा हूँ कि कर लीजिए, बट मेरे कहने से तो कुछ होगा नहीं, मेरे कहने की तो कोई वैल्यू नहीं है. बट अगर हम उनकी बात सुने, या फिर अगर हम किसी का एग्जाम्पल से सुने कि ओ इन्होंने भी किया था, देखिए ये they were able to control the senses. जिस प्रकार से हम अर्जुन का एग्जांपल लें, जैसे कि वो जब वो अर्जुन he was जब वो भगवान के साथ इंद्र लोग गए थे, है ना. तो वहां पे उनके साथ उनकी जो अप्सरा होती हैं, तो वहां पे उनकी एक अप्सरा उनको मिली थी, तो जो इंद्र की थी वहां पे, एंड उर्वशी, है ना. सो देन she was so attracted to Arjun that she wanted to have a relationship with Arjun, है ना. And they're also there because there is so much opulence in that lok. And then, but Arjun, he was so sthita pragya, and he was completely into Krishna consciousness. So he in fact gave the position of mother to that lady, to that apsara, because she and Arjun is also the son of Indra. Like as we know, Arjun is Indra's putra, and she also, because she has association with Indra. So then, in one way, she is his mother, है ना. And so then Arjun gives the motherly designation to her, and he was completely not agitated, and so he remained fixed in Krishna consciousness. So with Arjun's example, we can see with example of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni का जो ये प्रसंग आता है उसमें हम देख सकते हैं that Durvasa Muni, although being a sage or a rishi, he was agitated. I'm not going into the pastime, but Maharaj Ambarish, he was able to control he was able to tolerate whatever was happening, and because he was completely controlled in his senses. And also we can see that there are so many other examples in our shastras, which comes that how the devotees, they were able to not get agitated, and they were able to control their senses, and because they were fully engaged in the service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness. आगे बढ़ते हैं. So this जो ये श्लोक है, this is a very very important श्लोक as well, कि इसमें भगवान बता रहे हैं कि बट जिनके साथ जो ये नहीं कर पाते उनके साथ अब क्या होता है, कि those who are not able to control their senses, then what happens? ध्यायतो विषयां पुंसा संगस्तेषु उपजायते संगात् संजायते कामा कामात् क्रोधो अभिजायते. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. तो यहाँ पे भगवान बता रहे हैं कि जो एंगर आता है और जो जो काम की जो हमारी भावना आती है, जो एंगर आता है, वो कैसे होता है. टेक्निकल बता रहे हैं बेसिकली यहाँ पे कि जो हमारी सेंसेस हैं, the senses need engagement, so they are senses जब सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट्स के ऊपर पड़ती हैं, when they contemplate on the objects of senses, जैसे कि अब हम let's suppose हम कहीं पे जा रहे हैं रास्ते में और हमारी जो सूंघने की जो सेंस है और हम थोड़ा सा फिसल जाते हैं, अगर हमको कोई अच्छी खुशबू आ जाए खाने के लिए, है ना, तो सूंघने की सेंस है. तो लेट्स सपोज जा रहे थे और हमको अच्छी अच्छी खुशबू आ गई, कुछ अच्छा बन रहा है, छोले भटूरे टाइप्स अगर बन रहे हैं, तो जाते जाते हमारा मन कर जाता है कि ओ कुछ कोई अच्छी खुशबू आ रही है. तो फिर जैसे ही खुशबू आती है, सो देन वी कंटेम्पलेट मतलब उसके ऊपर सोचना, ओ खुशबू आ रही है तो मतलब कुछ आसपास बन रहा है, समथिंग इज कुकिंग, है ना, गोइंग ऑन. देन देन वी से ओ यस, फिर हम देख लेते हैं, ओ एक दुकान है वहां पे अच्छी अच्छी गरम गरम जलेबियां निकल रही हैं, कुछ छोले भटूरे बना रहा है, कुछ भी हो रहा है. सो देन we become attracted towards that sense object, and we immediately develop a desire to have it, है ना. And we develop a desire, we develop an attachment for it, and when that attachment develops, then there is a development of lust, calm. And if we are not able to get that thing, then we become angry. So that is where anger arises actually. If we are not able to fulfill that desire, that rush of thing, if we're not able to do that, then we become angry. And also, then let's suppose if we are at our home and we have a an intention, or we have a desire to that key the other person listens to me and they do only what I say, and if they don't do, because we are attached to them, then we become angry too, you know? We become angry. It becomes so easy for us to become angry, but it becomes so difficult to control it actually. बट होता कैसे है कि जब हम वो जो सेंसेस हैं, जब सेंसेस अनकंट्रोल्ड रहती हैं, और उसके बाद व्हेन, तो फिर हम जो जो सेंसेस के जो सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट्स हैं, देन we contemplate on those sense objects, and with contemplation on that we become attached to it, just like we become attached to our family members, our children, and from that develop lust, and from lust we develop anger.
headphones cover headphones.
So, and also lust not only means that the lusty thing about a man and a woman, it may also means that they do what I want. It also means this also, you know, that they do what I want. Calm. So calm means that I am the benefactor of what I am desiring. Like for example, if there are children, then they listen to me because I am superior, or they listen to me because so that they serve me, or whatever it could be, है ना? So that also is a form of lust, and from lust anger arises. It is not just a relationship between a man and a woman. So like that we can see. One purport partner, one who is not Krishna conscious is subjected to material desires while contemplating the objects of the senses. The senses require real engagement, and if they're not engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, they will certainly seek engagement in the service of materialism. In the material world, everyone, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, to say nothing of other demigods in the heavenly planets, is subjected to the influence of sense objects, and only method to get out of this puzzle of material existence is to become Krishna conscious. अब यहाँ पे देखिए भगवान शिव जो शिव जी हैं उनके बारे में भी बताया गया है कि कैसे वो भी फिसल जाते हैं, और अगर उनके साथ भी ऐसा हो सकता है तो आप सोच के देखिए फिर हमारा तो कोई चांस ही नहीं बैठता कि if we are not rightly situated, then we also become easily swayed by the sense objects and the senses. Lord Shiva was deep in meditation, but when Parvati agitated him for sense pleasure, he agreed to the proposal, and as a result, Kartikeya was born. So even Lord Shiva, we see that they also become agitated, and even Lord Brahma also, they also become bewildered. Also, what is happening? And then they need help of the Lord. But when it comes to devotees, those who are pure devotees, they can easily cross that thing, है ना? कि माया ही एष गुणमयी मम माया दुरुत्तया माम एव य प्रपद्यन्ते मायम एतम तरन्ति ते. That those who are devotees, वो मेरी माया को easily they can surpass that thing because they have surrendered onto me. अब इसी प्रसंग के साथ एक एग्जांपल आता है. एक तो हमने लॉर्ड शिवा के बारे में पढ़ा that he got agitated, and as a result Kartikeya was born. But on the similar example we can see the example of Haridas Thakur. आगे पढ़ते हैं कि when Haridas Thakur was a young devotee of the Lord, he was similarly allured by the incarnation of Maya Devi. But Haridas easily passed the test because of his unalloyed devotion to Lord Krishna. है ना? तो इसका एक प्रसंग आता है चैतन्य चरितामृत में भी कि जो हरिदास ठाकुर हैं चैतन्य महाप्रभु के जो नित्य पार्षद हैं, and who is also the Namacharya, and he is our Namacharya, and he was chanting, and he used to do 192 rounds a day. जो हम 16 माला करते हैं, he used to do 192 rounds every day without fail. That means 22 hours of chanting. So that was how he is actually. So he was doing his sadhana, and he was doing his meditation, and then there a prostitute comes to Haridas Thakur, and she tries to allure Haridas Thakur, and she was no other than the incarnation of Maya Devi. So we can imagine how beautiful she would have been and how attractive she would have been, because she is Maya, the Maya Devi personified herself. But Haridas Thakur was not at all agitated with whatever offerings that she did, and but in fact, so is the association of Haridas Thakur was कि जो माया देवी हैं और जो that lady was who was a prostitute, Haridas Thakur convinced her to chant. तो उन्होंने वो अपना कुछ छोड़ छाड़ के she joined Haridas Thakur, and she started chanting actually, and she got initiated, and she became the devotee of the Lord. So that is the pastime of Haridas Thakur. That instead of Haridas Thakur getting agitated, he converted that prostitute into a devotee of the Lord, and she became a devotee of the Lord, and she started chanting. But Haridas Thakur easily passed the test because of his unalloyed devotion to Lord Krishna, as illustrated in the verse of Sri Yamunacharya quoted in the purport of text 60. A sincere devotee of the Lord shuns all material sense enjoyment due to his higher taste for spiritual enjoyment in the association of the Lord. A sincere devotee of the Lord shuns all material sense enjoyment due to his higher taste for spiritual enjoyment in the association of the Lord. This is the secret of success. One who is not therefore in Krishna consciousness, however powerful he may be in controlling the senses by artificial repression, is sure ultimately to fail. For the slightest thought of sense pleasure will agitate him to gratify his desires. So that also happens with Mayavadis, that those who want to merge in Brahma Jyoti. So what their philosophy also is that they, after this lifetime, they want to merge into Brahma Jyoti. That means no activity and no, there will be no activity and no sense enjoyment, nothing at all, है ना? And they remain completely absorbed in that in nothing nothingness, because there is nothing in their Brahma Jyoti. But a slight thought of sense pleasure, because they cannot remain for so long with nothing. Like जैसे अगर हम एग्जांपल लें कि आपको अगर हम एक रूम में बंद कर दें, उस रूम में कुछ नहीं है, देर सिर्फ खाली दीवारें हैं, उसमें कुछ भी नहीं है, एंड अगर हम उसमें अगर हम चले जाएं, अगर अपने को बंद करते हैं, for how long, for how long we can stay in that room? Not even few hours. In fact, what to say of days, years, months. So these, for these Mayavadis also, like those who are impersonalists, they go after this, after a certain lifetime, they may merge into Brahma Jyoti, but it could be one lifetime, it could be one day, it could be millions of lifetimes, but they are sure to fall down. And when they fall down, they fall to the lowest, they fall, and they fall, and because the senses, they, even the soul has spiritual senses, and the spiritual senses also need spiritual engagement, but there is no engagement, and then they fall down and looking for engagement in the senses. Slightest thought of desire, if when it comes, they fall down. The same happens with yogis as well. That however powerful they may become in controlling the senses, but because they are not situated in Krishna consciousness, so then the slightest thought of the sense pleasure, it agitates them, and they, because they want to gratify their sense desires. So the the easiest and the most safest path is the path of Krishna consciousness, which is very easy and sublime as well, you know? And it's very sublime as well as very easy. क्योंकि उसमें क्या करना है, क्योंकि ऐसा तो कुछ है नहीं कि कोई हमको कह रहा है कि नहीं आपसे सब कुछ छोड़ दो और हिमालय चले जाओ और वहां पे जाके जब करना है माला करनी है, ऐसा भी नहीं है. Whatever, wherever we are, actually we remain situated in that situation, and in that situation only we try to engage ourselves in the service of the Lord, which is our constitutional position. We engage ourselves, and we chant our rounds, and we honor prasadam, and we associate with devotees, and so easily we can see that everything becomes uh, very easy for us to control, which is very difficult if we take the other ways. So that is how is glorious of this path is. और ये जो श्लोक है, ध्यायतो विषयम पुंसा संगस्तेषु तु जायते संगत संजायते कामा कामात् क्रोध विजायते, which tells us that how we develop the anger actually, and it is also a very sensitive issue as sometimes also, as well as it becomes that we are not able to uh, get control on our senses, we're not able to control on our anger, but as long as we keep on practicing Krishna consciousness, all those qualities which the devotees have, we also develop those qualities by the mercy, and out of which so one is also that we are able to control the senses. और उसका जैसे हमने पहले पढ़ा that कि परम दृष्टा निवर्तते, कि we develop higher taste due to which we are able to leave the lower taste. Krishna consciousness में आने से पहले
डस्टबिन लेना அது ஓரமா
we
வச்சிடு இன்னைக்கு
we
வந்தாச்சு
see that
குப்பக்காரா
we do so many other kinds of nonsense activities. We eat so many other kinds of nonsense things. But as as soon as we come to Krishna consciousness and we become little sincere and little serious, it works, and we don't even now desire to go back to that life, or ऐसा नहीं है कि we miss that life, or in fact, um, if anybody of you would like to share their own personal testimony that how you have actually overcome whatever things that you may be doing, then that is also a very satisfactory thing to uh, to hear actually. And I can give my own testimony that yes, it like in a single day we can see that people get transformed from to a completely different thing, at least from a very gross level, we can say. The heart change तो जब होगा वो तब होगा, and it will have its time, it will take its time, but at least on a gross platform we see that we can see the change in people so quickly, and they are able to do those things which seemed little unimaginable
What to
some
do?
years ago. So that is the potency of this process, and there is the potency of Krishna consciousness process. So with this we would I would like to rest here, and if there are any questions or any comments or any other thing that you may want to share from your own life, that how Krishna consciousness has helped you in controlling your senses and controlling and any other kind of thing that you may want to share, so you are most welcome to share. So
yes, Prabhuji, I want to share something. Means
so
hello?
any questions or any comments?
Yeah, Prabhuji, are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I cannot hear.
I am hearing.
Hare Krishna. Yes, now I can hear.
Okay. So I just want to share a little about me. Means I have seen changes in very short period of time. Very short. Means like anger, मतलब इतना कुछ and effortlessly. मैंने कुछ किया ही नहीं उसमें. Controlling. वो हो गया automatically. I don't know. And पहले जैसे हम लोग बाहर जाके जो आपने बताए एग्जांपल्स फूड वगैरह वो सब बहुत कंट्रोल हो गया अभी भी है ऐसा नहीं है बट वेरी मिनिमम. Yes and सबसे ज्यादा तो चैंटिंग में आई डोंट नो जब when I was doing I told you ना when I was doing 5-6 rounds it was looking like means very tough मतलब इतना ज्यादा लंबा लग रहा है वो करने में and now I am doing 16 rounds उसमें भी मुझे लगता है कि मैं 2-3 और एक्स्ट्रा कर भी जाती हूँ मैं कभी so in a very short period of time एकदम मतलब जब से I think last year in August I joined this group and अभी अगस्त आया भी नहीं है and उसके अंदर ये जो changes है ना पिछले 2-3 months के अंदर एकदम sudden changes आए and I'm very happy.
That is your sincerity, Mataji, and the sincerity that you are reading Srimad Bhagavatam and you are chanting your rounds, and so the holy name is reciprocating with you, and
yes,
Srila Prabhupada is reciprocating with you, and
श्रीमद् भागवतम पढ़ने में थोड़ा मेरे को बीच में डिसअपॉइंटमेंट आता है उसमें बहुत सारा जगह पे लिखा है कि डिवोटीज के एसोसिएशन में पढ़ना चाहिए बट वो हो नहीं पाता है इसलिए आई लिसन टू यूट्यूब चैनल्स मतलब जो है एक प्रभु जी है वो राधेश्याम दास प्रभु जी उन्हीं का ही सुनती हूँ बिकॉज अलग अलग डिफरेंट सुनने से ना वो फ्रीक्वेंसी बैठता नहीं है उसके अंदर.
We can hear, Mataji. Yes, we can hear. That's okay. We can.
हाँ, so association अभी उसी के थ्रू है और कोई association नहीं है उसमें.
नहीं, we can hear those lectures, Mataji. We can hear those. That's okay.
Yes.
And Yes, I'm very happy actually to hear you about you and your personal growth, which is there. It is
Yes, thank
very
you.
inspiring, actually, very inspiring and very faith-giving to me. That yes,
Yes, very inspiring for me also. Means जब तक कुछ नहीं था but जब हो रहा है तो बहुत fast हो रहा है.
very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this group also. मतलब through this group only means पहले तो कुछ पता ही नहीं था. अभी धीरे-धीरे I don't know automatically धीरे-धीरे भागवतम नहीं पता थी वो क्या है. चैतन्य महाप्रभु वाला तो अभी मैंने थोड़ा सा रीड किया था बट उससे पहले श्रीमद् भागवतम पढ़ना शुरू कर दिया. तो अभी उसको तो नहीं कर रही हूँ. इसलिए बहुत अच्छा लगता है.
It is one's personal endeavor actually, and of course the mercy of the Lord, which helps in the progress. And thank you so much for doing it.
Thank you.
sincerely, Mataji. I'm
Thank
very
you. Thank you.
grateful, very
Thank
grateful.
you. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, any more comments or any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
I would like to share my experience as Mataji just did. I think you are already aware, but for rest of the group's awareness, that I was visiting you early last year, and I have not even started chanting, and it was, I think, just because of the association I got in touch with of the devotees present at your residence, and whoever we met at that period of time, it changed me instantly, you know. And at that moment, after that moment, there was no stopping. And it has been, I always keep on thinking that whatever I do, how am I and how should I, direction it towards Krishna, in service of Krishna. So, of course, chanting, it really started with, the first chanting I did was at your residence with Giriraj Prabhu giving me the beads, and it was the first chanting I did, and since then there has been no stopping, and 16 rounds at least in a day, and want to do more, of course. But of course, the material activities are also important. But it was Krishna all the time. So a tremendous improvement I can see with myself, and of course, as Mataji said, and all of the devotees experience the same thing. There's no looking back. There is always an urge from inside to hear more, to chant more, to listen more, to see more about Krishna, and reading the books. Even I'm at work right now, so I'm joining this class and do not want to miss a chance. So if you see my computer, it's always the Veda base is open, and I'm reading something. I'm myself, advancing in Bhagavad Gita. I've ended chapter 11 today, and of course, I also refer to a lot of videos which are on YouTube to enhance my knowledge and to advance further in Krishna consciousness. So thank you very much. It's been a wonderful experience, and it is going to be even more wonderful in the coming days. Our main aim, I think, we will be able to achieve like this if we go on like this, serving Krishna, eternally serving Krishna. So that is our main aim. That is the goal. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. So, Prabhuji's example is one of the most inspiring example which I have seen in my life. Actually, I can say that with full conviction, and because Prabhuji is my brother-in-law, and we have been. I was only 6 years old, and since he moved me, and and we share that bond together, and due to my sister and the whole family together. And I have seen Prabhu, and he has seen me growing from 6 year to 30, and and I can tell you that my faith in this process has increased manifold due to your transformation. I cannot imagine that something like that can also happen, but immense is the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, and that is how the that is how is the potency of devotees who carry devotion or bhakti in their heart. I can tell you for myself that I don't have that thing in my heart. But like you meant, like as you rightly mentioned, that Kiraj Prabhu gave you the beads, and it was as if a transformation happened right there, right then, because he has sincerity, and he has devotion in his heart. And if the receiver is open, and if the other person has potency, then there is a perfect combination which brings this change. If the
Yeah.
receiver is open, so receiver was open, and the giver, they had the potency, and they were bona fide, authorized, and also with full potency, and all, of course, devotion, because without devotion nothing can happen. Sometimes I also wonder that but why I'm also doing these classes, because I don't have such devotion in my heart. And uh, but good will come by these classes. But then I only have faith in this, in the potency of Srila Prabhupada's writing, right? And Srila Prabhupada's vachan, which is Bhagavad Gita as it is only. So that is where is the potency lies. The potency doesn't lie with me. The potency lies with Prabhupada. The potency lies with Krishna. And if we become the via media, which is transparent, without any doing any kind of personally motivated interpretation, then that thing shows its result in a way of transformation also. And the way Prabhuji has transformed it has really been very, very inspiring. And I must say that at least my faith has increased manifold due to you. And I'm also very, very grateful to everybody, to you as well as in the family, that for accepting this. Because and maybe someday you will also start giving these classes to
Sure, why not?
yes, so
Sure, why not? Why not? I would love to do that, but I think there's still time. And Prabhuji, thank you very much. I want to thank you for, it was a situation. I think it was a situation that Krishna wanted, and it was at that time we met, and in that scenario, of course, we have met a lot of time before, but that in that scenario, Krishna wanted it, and through you and through your association with the devotees, and it was exceptional, and it was really it drove me on the right path. I think I was lost before that. If I look back, I think it was total darkness, and now I'm on the right path, I can say that. And I really thank you for that. Thank you very much.
I am so grateful for those who accept this process and with full conviction. So really grateful to all of you. And I think Sati Mataji has also written in the in the chat, so I'll read. Hare Krishna, all it's true, Mataji said. After joining and understanding Bhagavad classes, really life totally changed. 3 time chanting start. Okay. All said, all जिसको हम जानते ही हैं हरे कृष्ण नाम लेने के लिए, ज्यादा से ज्यादा कोशिश करते हैं नाम लेने के लिए. Very nice, Mataji. Don't want to miss anything. Try best. Really thanks, Prabhuji, and great. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. And thank you so much once again. So with this, we will end our today's session for Bhagavad Gita. So we'll all meet next Saturday, same time. and Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Jagad Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Antakoti Vaishnavin ki jai, Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.